Welcome to Wickerson Studios. I am beginning a little bit of the basics of working in Python, GH Python node with meshes, and the more I do this, the more simple I think I should keep things. Certainly I'm using Revit 2021. I'm going to watch some incredible videos that are coming out. I need to know Spanish a little more, but anyway, I also have the Rhino inside open with Grasshopper open. This basic script is just playful with writing a very simple script and making a few extra inputs just to play with it. The basic script for creating a mesh is pretty simple. You dictate, you can hard code vertices, and you can have the mesh out, and that will present the mesh. And what I've done there is basically grab myself a grid. I can change the size and scale of that, and in doing so, I can change, relative to the height, just scaling things differently as I change the number count. Obviously, if I go below the size of my piece and the X and Y extends, then I'll lose my geometry. So I'm just going to leave it at 10 and 10. I have a point count that shows up on there, so you got to get a sense of where the data is running as I create my mesh. And the script itself is very simple. Rhino script syntax is RS. Faces defined by A, B, C, D, and then I just did A plus B, B plus C plus D, D plus A. You can do whatever you want in there. I'm just being a little playful. The mesh is then adding mesh, vertices, and faces are required parameters, and then your mesh out is mesh. So then what I did is I just went in and I took the meshes as a mesh union. You can see that in both windows. And I did a quick weld mesh, counting my branches, looking at my complex mesh of 121 vertices and reducing that through the welded mesh to 8 vertices and 2 faces. And then basically, naked edges are being calculated as joining curves, setting a surface to extrude, and then extruding that in the scale of, I believe, 20 is parametric back to what I did as the size. So if it's 22, then it's scaling 22, so it keeps it uniform. Then I just exploded the tree so I could actually go in and say, okay, how many units being created? 1, 2, 3, 4. And because my ABCD is fully, I brought my inputs way over here so I could play, and you'll see how my tree explodes into more or less forms as I run through the ABCs relative to what they would be added to one another. And you get these wonderful little building structures. And sometimes you get 3 buildings, sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 4. I don't know if I've gone above 4 yet. You can see it kind of do-si-doing and jumping and grabbing. All I'll have to do to generate that would be, let me just grab another 2 here, slide this up. Copy, paste, and bring that down, just slam in another 2 in case 2 do show up. I just want to be able to see them. And let me just get that a little more organized because that's pretty rough. There we go. You see that only, and I like to pick the ones that I want. So if I just pick the second building, you see that's a pretty ridiculously thin slice, but it doesn't come in contact. Get this strange little mesh done across the bottom, which is some type of bug that I have to get rid of. But otherwise, that's it. It's a little creative script with using the simple basis of faces, mesh, and mesh out. So I hope you enjoyed that. Things are going to get complex real quick as I start to make these triangular meshes, and you're going to watch them grow into the 3 dimensions pretty fast through this text. We're well into chapter 3. I hope that we can inspire a lot of wonderful inputs and creative aspects to the work. And maybe I'll just, for this sake, because I was just interested in counting, bring back my inputs to where they should be, and you see a nice mesh create that's fully parametric and geometric and related to architecture, and nothing too fancy, no curving facades, but certainly irregular sized pieces. And I really like zigging this around because it's the way I understood data and moving through relative items and coding and scripting in Grasshopper. It just makes a lot more simple sense to bring it as inputs into a Python node using very basic functions. You can see I'm only using add mesh as a function. So get these memorized, have a hyperlink to all of these on the Rhino developer, and you'll be setting sail into Rhino Common before you know it, and into making your own interesting plugins. And that's where I'm going. I'm entering year 2 of Grasshopper and just loving, or finishing up year 2 of Grasshopper. So I'm really loving this. And slowly I'll get more and more knowledge of Revit as I go. I just want to keep my little tiny script up to show you the simplicity of that, how that relates to being able to make some wild scripts. All right. Thanks very much for watching.